This is the Global Economic Commodities Scrap Metal and Recycling Report by our BENLEE roll-off trailer and open-top trailer, August 17, 2020. U.S. weekly steel production rose to 1.354 million gross ton as slow economic growth continues. Oil price rose to $42.01 a barrel as global growth is slowly rising and as huge U.S. and OPEC cuts remain in place. The U.S. oil rig count fell to 172, a decade-plus low, down a staggering 89.3% from the 2014 high, as the OPEC-U.S. deal to cut production remains in place. U.S. weekly oil production fell to 10.7 million barrels a day, near a multi-year low on low prices and the OPEC-U.S. production cut deal. Scrap steel number one heavy melt export buying price, Philly, rose to $220 gross ton on solid export demand. Scrap steel number one heavy melt price settled at $211.67 a gross ton as U.S. manufacturing is coming back and on export demand as it remains strong. Hot rolled coil steel rose to $23.59 per hundredweight as U.S. economic growth continues. Copper rose to $2.86 a pound on slow global manufacturing growth. Aluminum rose slightly to 78.8 cents per pound, a multi-month high, excluding spikes, on the same slow global growth. Gold price fell to $1,944 an ounce as U.S. stimulus talks continue, which would support growth. China's July industrial growth rose 4.8%, below consensus, as manufacturing and utilities increased, but as mining fell into contraction. The Euro area, which is an economy similar in size to the U.S., had its June industrial production decrease 12.3% versus last year, and that's as Europe recovers from COVID. U.S. Business Optimism Index for July fell to 98.8 on COVID concerns nationally. It was mostly up since 2009 and hit a high in 2018. It then trended down and crashed with COVID. U.S. consumer sentiment rose slightly to 72.5 on concerns about COVID spread and, more importantly, over concerns for growth in the next 5 years. U.S. inflation for July rose to 1%, up from May's 4.5-year low. Energy dropped 11.2%, and transportation services dropped 3.7%. U.S. industrial production for July improved to be down only 8.2% from last year. Note that it peaked in mid-2018. But the good news is many factories have now resumed operations. U.S. retail sales for July rose 1.2%, below expectations due to COVID's resurgence. Electronics grew 22.9%, and auto and dealer parts fell 1.2%. U.S. weekly initial unemployment claims fell to 963,000, the lowest in months, as jobs are slowly improving, which is great news. Wall Street's Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 498 points to 27,931 as added federal stimulus remains in flux and on positive vaccine news. The market just finished the best S&P 100-day gain since 1933. As always, feel free to call or email me with any questions. We hope all have a safe and profitable week.